There's something unique about that car. Is it the colour? I mean, this is blue Camargue. It's an amazing colour for a BX. This is a colour that's used on other old Citroens. I think some of the A series stuff. I think DS's came in this colour. G's, CX, no, don't think the CX did. But it's an awesome colour. I love it. However, rare as that is not unique. That is not the only BX in this country with that colour as a paint job, or certainly as far as I know it's not. There is another one, although last time I saw pictures of it, someone had drawn willies all over the bonnet. That's not a joke, someone vandalised it. Scum. It isn't the fact that it's a Mark 1 either. I mean, they are rare in the UK, but they do exist. Before we get on to what makes this car unique, I owe it a bit of an apology, because a little while ago I did a video with a red BX on the cover and said that was this the best starter Citroen? Was this the best way into a hydro pneumatic Citroen for a beginner? And I stand by it. The car in that video was a BX 14RE, which is what this one is. And yeah, it was a Mark II, but that was not really the thing. The thing with that car was that it had the TU engine fitted to it, which is the engine that went into the AX and the 106 and ZXs and all sorts. It's a very simple, very basic engine, quite a simple car to learn your way round mechanics on, and I can say that from experience because that's what I did. Those are the engines I learned my way around engines on. And in that video, because I was saying how good this BX was with this engine and everything, I overlooked the suitcase engine. I overlooked the earlier BX, this BX, which has the XY series engine. Now, I'm not going to go into massive detail about the engine in this car because I went into more detail on the Rolling Road video I did on one of these cars a little while back, channel member Callum's beige 14RE. We'll put that on the dyno, there's a link to it in the top corner, and I talked a bit more about the engine there. But what I didn't do was apologise for my comments in the BX Best Kept Secret video I did on the red 14RE a while back, again, link in the corner. Because in that video I said that the TU engine in later cars was vastly superior. Yeah, I might be wrong on that. I mean, sure, from a modern standpoint, and possibly some of the components on this are quite difficult to get to, so the TU is probably a bit easier to work on overall, but it has to be said, that's still pretty simple. In a nutshell, what it is the XY series engine. It's known as the suitcase. It's an all-in-one engine and gearbox assembly. So the gearbox is in the bottom of the engine. The engine sits bang central in the centre of the car, dead central, not off to one side like it is in most cars. And you have equal length drive shafts either side, meaning really this thing is slightly truer to a proper Citroen, i.e. GS or DS or something like that, than the later cars would be. You know, equal length drive shafts. Design engineering, meaning that the engine is low down, good for handling, good for centre of gravity. Citroens are all about that back in the old days. I think this might actually be, as far as Citroens go, the truest Citroen BX, if that makes sense. Like people say, oh, the BX isn't a true Citroen. Yeah. A, I think they're wrong, but also B, I think this might be the most Citroen-y of all of them. So the engine is an inline-4, 1400cc, around about 70 horsepower, lays on its back almost 72 degrees. Cylinder heads up there. That would be the sump, only it's not. It's just like the bottom of the crankcase, and the sump is underneath, and then the diff and everything is underneath the head, and the gearbox is kind of like, there's a clutch thing in here, and there's an auxiliary shaft which runs the gearbox like a Mini or Metro does on an A series, meaning you get that characteristic whine. Now in the UK, a 14RE was actually the top of the range 1400 model, but in France, well, it was technically still top of the range, but you did not get wheel trims, you got hubcaps. You also got very skinny tyres. Honestly, if I took the handbrake off this thing and the wind picked up, it would probably roll off. Standard BX throughout. This is a Mark 1, so of course you've got your PRN up here. Like we've said in previous videos, all these cars, I've done a few on BXs now, I don't really need to go into all the massive detail, but I've not had one in before with manual front windows, and I've got to be honest, I quite like those winders, they're quite funky looking. Yeah, it's a lovely thing, this, it really is. It's probably one of the best colours you can get a BX in, it just works. It's just got a bit more, I mean, it's got character. The TU has character, but this has just got rattles. It's got the engine is actually smoother than the TU, and it's got this lovely little the pull it's got at low revs. It's just a willing kind of flexible engine in the way that some of the XUs are. It reminds me more of the TU 1.1 engine, not the 1.4. I think the 1.1 is the sweet spot in the TU range. I've not driven a 1.1 version of this, but this feels really nice. And there are two versions of this engine. There was a lower power version, which was about 60 horsepower, and then a version with about 72-ish book figure. Not massive differences between them. I think valve sizes were different, but I would be corrected on that. Main difference was a carburetor. This one has a twin choke Solex carburetor. The other ones have a single choke or single barrel, however you want to put it. Those engines are not quite as powerful at the top end as these, but it has to be said, and when we're driving a car here that is tax exempt because it's over 40 years old, and you could drive this every day, honestly. I mean, it's left-hand drive. This takes getting used to, but I am getting used to it now. The gear change took a while, but I'm starting to get there. I would love to drive this around France now. You can just keep up with traffic so easily. Look, it really wouldn't be a chore at all. You've got brakes in this car, fully powered hydraulic brakes, which it will stop as well as any brand new car. I mean, obviously you haven't got brake distribution and all that kind of thing, or the brake force, you know, driver aids, but I have to be honest, I'm a little bit taken with this. You've got an engine that is different, but not out there. It's different, but it's not at the expense of longevity or reliability like a rotary engine would be, you know. Engine would be the talking point in a rotary engine car, but with the whole sort of in the background caveat of, oh my god, what if it goes kaboom? This isn't going to. Pootling around at 50 kilometers an hour, because I don't know what that is in miles an hour. I think that's 30. I'm driving around at low revs, 5th gear. I'm just cruising. I'm driving this like I'd be driving a DS. BX14s are wonderful cars, and I'm now going to take it back officially. Doesn't matter which one you get. This is more fun than a 16. The 1.6 BX, this is more fun. It's a bit more rudimental. If you don't like noises and rattles and things, you probably won't like this one, but it's more fun than a 1.6. It feels so light. I mean, this has to be the lightest type of BX there is. I can't imagine there's one lighter than this. You ever drive a Metro or a Mini A series? You've got that whine. It's so willing. It's a 1400. It's got no right. And the best bit is I'm not speeding. I might be a little bit. He's on about selling this. No. So in short, if you've watched my video where I said the BX14 was the best kept secret, and you've decided that you want to get a BX14 but you've actively avoided the early ones because of what I said, you are allowed to be angry at me, because it has to be said, it's not even a case of is this one as good as a 14 TU. I think I'd actually prefer this. You don't have to get a Mark 1 to get this engine. This engine was in the BX until about 1988, roughly. If you get a 14 before 1988, it's likely to have the XY. Obviously, they're going to be rarer the further back you go, but the 14 is not a highly sought after model. And even if you get one that isn't 40 years old, the tax is cheaper than any other BX because it's under 1400cc. And they do 40 to the gallon. And the engine's reliable. And all the hydraulics are very easy to work on. The hydraulics in this car are the easiest of any hydro Citroen you will find. And I could reel off a list of the things that make this a proper Citroen, like the equal length drive shafts, the bearings on the front wishbones. It has bearing mounted front suspension. It has bushes as well, but it has bearing mounted front suspension, like a DS or a GS or an SM. Dang. I've never been so wrong. Well, I have. But about BXs, I've never been so wrong. I apologise to you, BX14. But what makes this car unique? What was the whole point of this video? Did you get it right? Well, I'll tell you. So at the beginning of the video, I told you this car was unique, and I would reveal why at the end of the video. And I have. Why? That's the reason this car is unique. It is the only Y-Reg Citroen BX in the UK.
I've got a
Citroen BX.
Y-Reg.
The thing that makes it unique is that in the UK, the first Citroen BXs were registered on the 1st of August 1983, making them an A reg, A prefix. So you had a prefix plate, you had an A here, then some numbers, and then some letters. This is a suffix plate. Letter is here. This is the age identifier, and numbers. It's basically the same thing in reverse. These came before the prefix plates. The BX was first registered, the first press cars and dealer demos and everything like that, 1st of August 1983, I assume deliberately to make them seem newer, because cars look completely different once the letter that identified the age of them moved to the front of the number plate. I imagine that was a Citroen UK thing, but this car comes from abroad. This one comes from France, and in France and most of Europe, the BX was launched in 1982, September 1982, meaning there was nearly a whole year of production where you could buy cars on the continent, but you couldn't buy them here. Meaning that you could get a car that was registered before the date the first BXs in the UK were registered in the UK. Meaning you can get a Y-Reg BX if you buy one in France that was registered first time before August 83, bring it over here and then register it for the UK, and that's what this one is. This is a July 1983 registered car. That makes it as old as me. Somewhat ironically, this is not the oldest Citroen BX in the UK. I know, that's weird. This car was actually built after a couple of cars that still survive to this day, that were used as factory demonstrators or press cars or something like that.
They ask you how you are, you just have to say that you're fine when you're not really fine, but you just can't get in.
Those cars had RBX at the number plate because Citroen had the foresight to try and get them all registered in Wales, giving them a BX identifier, BX, BXC. Very clever stuff. Now, all of those cars were first registered in August 83, but some of those were built in June, some of them were built in July, some of them were built before this one. I think there are two in the UK that were built before this one was built, because this one was just built and registered straight away for the private individual who bought it, whereas in the UK, no private sales, or no private deliveries of BXs, I should say, took place until September 83. So, yeah, a bit of a weird one. It's not the oldest BX in the country, but it is the one with the earliest first registration date. One of them was built in June, one of them was built in July, and they were first registered in... Oh. Thank you. Bollocks.